Good evening, everybody. So tonight I kind of wanted to share with you guys something kind of interesting that I've been working on. I know a lot of people have sketchbooks and they have many sketchbooks and do a much better job than I do of filling them up and constantly growing and improving. But I kind of wanted to share my sketchbook with you and kind of the story of how I kind of got back into it, and over the years kind of like just learned where I needed to be and how I needed to go about creating. Because my biggest problem would be that I would have all of these random pieces of paper, but I would never just like put it in one book so that I'd have it. And I was afraid of the blank page. I still am working through being afraid of a blank page and things like that. So this sketchbook is really my first successful sketchbook. So, I've kind of made it fun and stickers and things like that. This is from another artist friend. These are from artist friends. This is from a conference that I usually go to yearly. Did not go because of COVID this year. Another artist friend. But if you'll notice, this is my current sketchbook, but the date, it says 2009. So yeah. And I even talk in here about just being nervous about, a brand new sketchbook and, all this kind of stuff. And, I just started off in the same place I normally would start off in a sketchbook, like trying to make it into a big deal. And it is, but I think I kind of scared myself. I always did. I was the same way in school. It was kind of ridiculous. But, I'd be doing good. And here I am all talky. And then I draw some daffodils one day. That's nice. And then I'm talky again. And it's like, look. Okay, I'm like 3 pages in. Literally 3 pages. I took a 6-month hiatus from the sketchbook. So, yeah. That's what happens. And I just, can I tear this page out? Things like that. I drew some pancakes. I talked about my day. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I couldn't find a groove. So after those few pages, 9 years later, literally 9 years later, I picked up this sketchbook again and I was like, I'm going to fill this up. One way or the other, I'm going to fill it up. So the first thing I started doing is just sort of mark making. Literally going in and taking all the pens that I have that I like and what do they look like on this paper in this book. How fine of a line can you get? What does the gold Sharpie look like on this paper that soaks up the ink really well? And then, this will be explained in another page later, but just making P's over and over again. Like, I had to kind of learn with this sketchbook that it's not about making perfect little drawings. It's about experimenting and about making a mark, and it doesn't have to be right. It just has to be there. So, I just started drawing and looking at negative and positive spaces, and I started with some of the things that I learned from the many books that I have by Danny Gregory, and some of the things that I've learned from his group of people with the Sketchbook School, which if you're into art, please look them up. It's an amazing group of people, and you just learn a lot about your approach and your attitude. This was just something silly. Paranormal Activia, the yogurt. Feeling ghoul starts on the inside. Millions of probiotics. Just something silly that had been in my head for a long time. I made my own little commercial for it. drawing. Just, you know, that was a Garbage Pail Kids figurine that I have. I was just drawing it, not caring if they overlap. Just keep drawing. Just keep looking at space. Ignore the overlap. Sitting on the couch, drawing our entertainment center. Drawing, these are little Kinder Egg figurines that my friend from Germany sent me, and I really love them. Actually, I have in the handy dandy back pocket, I actually have the little paper that came with them, but you can kind of see they're based off of this little cartoon that shows all the characters. There's him, but yeah, just kind of practicing drawing. These are very tiny little figures, but I had them out on my desk and I would draw them. And it's a little bit about composition, a little bit about just going for it. This was in a doctor's office. Like I said, I don't pretend that these are good. They're just out there. This is a guy who was falling asleep. This little pattern was on the chairs in the waiting room. I don't even know. This is just goofy stuff. I was playing with a pen. My tail is luxury. I spelled luxury wrong. I know it. This was just drawing the kitchen. I don't know. I found these weird shaped stamps that I had, so I just stamped the page, and then later on I drew some faces on stuff. It is what it is. Mark making. I just wanted to use these supplies. This was, have you ever heard the nursery rhyme, Pussycat, Pussycat, where have you been? So this was just me kind of getting some ideas for that sort of thing out of my head. And to me, this is a good thing to do. Like, if you just want to create something and you're not sure what, take a supply that you normally use and want to use, swatch it in your book so that you can see what it looks like on this paper. Put white and black ink over it, different types of pens. And like, is this pen waterproof? No, it's not. Look for that kind of stuff. And, you know, it may not be the same as sketching, but it's still helpful and creative, and it kind of will break the inertia and get you going. And there are some blank pages in here. Sometimes it's because whatever's on the back, like that's blank because that was a Copic marker that bled through. Things like that. I was sketching at the park one day. I brought my travel kit with me. Did a little color. I kind of left it like that. Blank. This was in Paris. We were in the Luxembourg Gardens, and I was like settling in for a day of, you know, watching people and sketching, and literally a bird poops on my drawing. And yeah, it's gross. I kept it. I'm not going to throw a sketchbook away because of bird poop, but cleaned it off really, really well, and it's a really funny, dirty little memory. This was another one that I did after the bird poop ruined the drawing, just beginning to kind of put in some shapes and colors. This was done afterward. I drew this sketch from a picture I had on my phone. I was actually traveling and bored in the hotel room for work, and drew that from a picture because I had left a blank page. But this is Napoleon's death carriage there's right next to Versailles. There's a carriage museum that's really interesting. If you ever go, you should definitely look at it. And that was Napoleon's death carriage. Another one I did, that's Marie Antoinette's little playhouse in the gardens of Versailles. In an effort to try to keep all my stuff together, these were some things that I had done on another sheet of paper that I liked that I just cut out and placed in here. There's no shame in that. If you find yourself kind of doodling on other pages and you want to keep it, just put it all, gather it all, put it in the book. It makes the book a handy reference. Airport people. This is something that I would like to come back to at some point. Maybe not this page itself, but just the idea, which, a lot of people do sketchbook journaling and stuff like that, where they kind of, just kind of do, about their trip or about their day, whatever it is. There are a lot of people that do it every single day. I wish I could get into that habit, but I'm not that good at this yet. But this was Denmark and Sweden, and I was gonna do like foods and I didn't get through it, but I still have like photos of things. I could probably go back and finish this if I wanted to. Do some little watercolor washes over it. But this is the kind of thing I would like to be able to do more often and keep a habit of that, but I've never really gotten into a habit of it. This is one where I tried to do that again. This was just Patrick and I had a super fun day in Montgomery, Alabama. We went looking for Marvel action figures. Patrick found Mr. Fantastic. We went to a 3-story antique mall. I got some good books. We had Thai food. Patrick got his volcano chicken. I got red curry chicken. We went to the Asian market and we got the jasmine tea that they had at the Thai restaurant that we liked. Some kind of strange hawthorn drink, which I actually did like it and Patrick didn't, which is unusual. We went to a store that they had in Montgomery at the time they didn't have here. So this is the kind of thing I would like to be able to do. Just like, it's quick, it's not perfect, it's just sketching stuff out about your day. This is one I attempted to do that I didn't finish. However, I do like my deviled eggs. They turned out pretty good. This was supposed to be like, we did a barbecue and this was supposed to be like meat. This was going to be like a place to kind of write about the day. It just never happened. This is new pens that I got. So I did what I was talking about, where I just kind of go through and see if I can see how tiny the point is and that kind of stuff. And then I call this drawing animals without looking at what they actually look like, and you get some really funny stuff. So this is we're really into that show. Oh gosh, why am I not able to think of it right now? The Western. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it's got Al Swearingen in it, and anyway, he's always eating peaches, and there's like this scene where he's like, why did you put the cinnamon on the table? That's a use of unauthorized cinnamon. So I was just kind of doing like some funny art, and he had a saloon and brothel called the Gym, and I was just kind of doing little caricatures of him in different ways. Just some little fun fan art. Why can't I think of this show right now? Anyway, I know you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So that was just a little fan art for that. I think those turned out a lot, really fun. This is just a dumb idea that I had in my head. Hair club for men. Haha, hip hop. Just goofy. Just goofy. This was really fun for me. I feel like, talking about artistically, I feel like this was sort of a turning, like this whole sketchbook, it was kind of a turning point for me because I just kind of learned how to use a sketchbook as a tool instead of being scared of it, because, and I've been in art since college. So, and I know even in college, I didn't use my sketchbooks the way I should have. I didn't use them to explore. I didn't use them the way people, would think it's hard to explain, but I was terrified of them because I thought everything that went in there needed to be perfect. And that's not the case at all. Most of what is in your sketchbook should just be experimental. It's pretty intimidating too, because you go online and you see a lot of artists that have these amazing sketchbooks. And in a weird sort of way, I actually learned a lot from those artists that have really good sketchbooks on how to use sketchbooks as skills, have sketchbooks for different things, and explore in them, because there are awesome sketchbooks out there that are perfect and every page is amazing, but then there are some artists that will actually share with you the part of their sketchbooks that aren't perfect, and I really do appreciate all of that. So this was one of, I don't know if you guys have heard, do this in your own style challenges on like Instagram and stuff. So this artist that I follow, he's kind of a cartoonist, and he did a sloth in a tree who was like, I don't know, it's like summer sloth was the hashtag. So he was, his sloth was drinking a drink, hanging out with a like Hawaiian shirt on, and I was like, what would my summer sloth be doing? They would be taking selfies with their friends in the trees. So I don't know, I just kind of went all out on this one. I started developing a color palette on a little piece of scrap paper, and I put that in here, and I kind of sketched out what I wanted, and I started building it up. And this is all pretty much all colored pencils, like Prismacolor colored pencils. So I really like my little snake face. But I was proud of myself for finishing something, because, it was really, really fun and really satisfying. I built, my color palette that I wanted. I really, went for it with this, and I really liked the results of it and had a lot of fun doing it. So this was kind of a turning point for me too, where, I realized this book can be a combination of, successful things and, real poop. It can be a little bit of both, and it's okay. So I really enjoyed that. And then once again, I'll be honest with you, after this, I did have like, oh my gosh, now does every page have to be like as finished as this? And no, it doesn't. So I had to force myself to just do something, just put ideas down, to begin again, and not let, one success bring me back to that fear of the blank page again. So, what I kind of did was I went back to that mark making thing, that research phase again. And, I began with color palettes that I liked. So basically what I was doing is, like, in this magazine, this was like a home magazine, where I found this color palette that really, I do like it. I still haven't done anything with it. But I like that color palette. And then I went through and I found colors from my Prismacolors that matched it, and I wrote those down. So it's kind of a reference page. Now, I didn't put anything on the back of my Summer Sloth because I wanted to make sure that I kept that from warping on the other side. And then I saw another color palette that I really liked. It's kind of an unusual one with these reds and blues. And I went in here again and I found all of the colors that I had that would match that for reference. That's like a really, that's another fun thing to do sometime whenever you feel like you just want to be creative, but you don't know what you want to do. Just like kind of make a plan, even if it's a plan for nothing. Like this and this still haven't gone anywhere. Haven't done anything with them, but maybe I will. I think that's a good idea for a limited color palette. I think that's a good fall color palette. I made notes about that. So who knows, I might come back to them. And this is another, example of what I'm talking about, like creative but not creative. This is, these are actually by Crayola. They're water-soluble oil pastels. And I never knew, like I've had those for a really long time. I mean, like a really long time. And I never knew they were water-soluble. So I swatched them all. And I used watercolor brush over part of it so you could see like what the textured part does and how it dissolves, and just kind of made myself a nice reference there for those. And like I said, this is not the same as that, but it is being creative. It kind of puts you in the mode. And same thing with this. I did this for a little while with different stuff because I found it really helpful too. And these are my Giotto watercolor pencils and Giotto watercolor palette. Giotto is a brand, it's an Italian brand that you'll find in Europe, in Italy, and other European countries. And actually, it's kind of like Crayola, but they are very good. They have a lot of pigmentation. I find the watercolors to be really good beginner sets. I like them very much. And anytime I see them over there, that brand of art supply, typically I'll buy it and bring it home. These were some pearlescent watercolors I had purchased, and I swatched them on black and on white. I always like the way they swatch on black better. I think they look nice. And I can't remember what the prompt was, but there was some kind of prompt with the word twirl, and this was me playing around. But like I said, these are not perfect, not at all. This is an example of, one of those pages that makes you kind of cringe because you're like, ugh, compared to some of the other things I've done, this is just awful. But you just got to keep going and move on. So this was another spread that I really liked. For whatever reason, I just wanted to do something with neon colors. The neon colors, the bright colors were speaking to me. So I kind of made myself a palette and got myself an idea of a little cat looking into an aquarium filled with brightly colored things. And this is what I came up with. This was really, really fun to do. And this was another one that I got to plan out. And then I'm back to swatching again. Swatched some, this was some that I had bought off of Etsy from a maker there called the Southern Brush, and she does, she sells something called dot cards. That's just cards with little samples of the colors. So I bought a dot card from her and swatched them because I really was wanting some metallic watercolors. I had wanted to play with them. I mean, just random ideas. Like, I think this might have been something that was probably like Inktober ring. And I was like, ringworm, get it? Yeah, nothing much came of it, but that was my little idea there. Just some patterns. I think for a couple of months, I had subscribed to something called like Artbox or Sketchbox or something like that, where you get art supplies sent to you. And I tried to create something just with the things that they sent. So this was an acrylic ink and a Copic marker and something else. I just tried to create something just with those. Sort of gave myself a little challenge. So I just did a little floral pattern. And for a while there, I was kind of into just playing with lettering, which I never did a whole lot of. But so basically I was just taking a shape and trying to make the words and the phrases stay in that shape. And I had kind of brainstormed some different ideas for the future here. So Harvest Moon, Alive and Well. There were some ones that I had done off paper that I put in. Golden Boy. It's kind of like phrases that used colors. Purple Haze, Red Flag. Tickled Pink, kind of a metallic watercolor. That was fun. This was an Inktober prompt for wild, so I did wild berries. Get it? It's like they've gone wild. Just playing around. Somebody wanted me to do some initials for him, so I was playing around with trying to do that. Just playing. I did a piece for a friend, and this was kind of my sketch for that. And then this is horrible. Once again, things don't always have to be perfect. We look like old people. Just thinking about trying to do drawings of people. I did a cat, which I don't have it anymore. I gave it to them as a gift. It was much, much more detailed than this. And I don't know if you guys remember, it was kind of like a meme that was out not that long ago about a cat named Perdita that had this like really mean death stare. And I was like, this poor Perdita. So I was just doodling and drew that of Perdita. More colorful things. Just coffee mugs. I used, I think I used gouache and some jelly roll pens. But like the color on some of this is just like electric. That's why like that combination, I don't know if it shows up as well here, but it's so bright and so colorful. I just loved the combinations of the colors. So I did that. And I just wanted something to doodle. So I kind of made these pages so that I could come in and just doodle one. And I could always have something to come back to when I didn't have a lot of time, but just wanted to doodle. So there's another swatch making page. Here I used washi tape to cordon off a space, and I painted it black, and then I used some acrylic pens to do this floral design. Just something I wanted to play with. And here's another example of things don't always go right. Like, you'll see my note, ugly cat. Like, this just didn't turn out anything the way I wanted it to. And there was really no going back, and I just had to live with it and had to leave it. And it just it just didn't happen. This is a series that I'm still kind of working on, because this sketchbook is almost done, but it's not completely done. But these are all my notes and swatches. This is Sekhmet, the lioness goddess, Egyptian goddess. And I can't exactly remember what made me think of all this, but like I just wanted to draw an Egyptian goddess. So I started getting colors together. I had all the books that we had in the house that were about Egypt to, you know, try to learn patterns and things like that. I looked it up on the internet and picked out some color schemes, things like that. And Sekhmet was my first. So this was mostly, it's gouache, colored pen. Well, there's really no, I didn't actually use colored pencils. I swatched some up here, but I didn't use them. This is gouache and jelly roll pens over the top for some of the details. So I did Sekhmet. And then we all know this god, the jackal. And the Egyptian name is up there, the balancing and the scales and some symbols around him. So Sekhmet, Anubis, and then I'm setting up for my next one here is Horus. Right? No, Horus, Sobek, which is a crocodile, and no, that's gonna be Horus. Horus is a falcon. Gosh, I can't remember which one this is. It's the ibis bird. Why can't I remember anything tonight? Anyway, this one's getting there. Then I kind of went off on tangents and haven't come back to it, but eventually I want to finish the series. I've left spaces for them. And that's kind of where I am right now. Like, this was a page that I did. I got these really cool color changing watercolors. And I did this potions page just to kind of play with them. It was kind of like a fancy way to swatch them. I don't know if you can see how they change. That was really fun. And this is another one of those doodling animals without looking at photos of them. So you just start drawing and, you know, then you start realizing, I don't remember what this looks like. Like, this was my first one. And what is that? I don't even know. It didn't look right. And then things start, you know, getting a little better. And like, look at that. What is that? I don't know. But, I mean, these are just fast doodles of animals. And trying to fill up the spread without looking at any reference photos at all, just like what you remember them to look like. And sometimes you're like, I don't remember what they, you know. So, like, this beaver's crazy. I don't know what's going on there. And this frog looks like he couldn't jump to save his life. But those are just kind of fun. They're warm-ups and makes you realize, you know, reference photos are great things. And this is not done, so I still have some pages to go. I had set this up. It's another sheet of colored paper that I've glued in because I wanted to play with some watercolors that I'd gotten. And it's kind of part of a color palette thing I'm working on. So, some more stickers. But that is my sketchbook, and that is sort of my sketchbook journey. Another thing that I've done that I think is really helpful that I can show you guys is these are some tiny sketchbooks that I've created. It's found paper and things like that, and like I kind of 3 of them have designated themes, and the others I haven't started yet. But like, for instance, this is people and faces. So if I don't have a lot of time and I just want to play with something, I'll pick this up and I'll sketch in it. And most of the pages are scrap paper. There is an old children's book that I put in here. And it's just quick things. And so I haven't finished this one, but these are the blank pages. And these are very small and they're very, rudimentary. And it's just, if I want to do something, but I want to be small and quick. This is another one that I have that hasn't been designated as I haven't done anything with this one yet. Haven't done anything with that one yet either. This one is like floral things. So it's literally just like kind of abstract pattern mark making. This was a bouquet I'd gotten that I had drawn. That's about it for this one, I think. But I just find that these small formats are very you don't feel very overwhelmed by them. This is kind of just abstract mark making. And this is a combination of gouache and colored pencils and some acrylic markers. Just patterns. Yeah, nothing amazing, just making. So that's kind of another thing that I've done to sort of combat the creative block that you get sometimes. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed sort of touring my sketchbook with me. Like I said, I don't claim to be the perfect sketchbook artist. I don't claim to know all the answers. I just know what has helped me is just, not thinking of a sketchbook as an intimidating place for everything that is perfect. And just, it's a playground. Let it be a playground. And, try to make sure that you get past your good art days and your bad art days and just keep making anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and until next time.